Hello YouTube, this is an Ace Special, and today I'll be going over the news regarding Star Wars Battlefront Singleplayer. Before I begin on that though, I'd like to state that the gameplay footage you'll be seeing in the background of this video is of a game called BattleTanx Global Assault for the Nintendo 64. It was actually one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games. It was hands down the best non-Nintendo game. And it's certainly a contender for the best game, in my personal opinion, on the system overall as well. But that's up for debate itself, so I'll get back on topic now. So news has reached me that Star Wars Battlefront will not have a single-player campaign mode. To be honest, a few of us probably saw this coming, or at the very least the sheer amount of talk regarding the multiplayer portion of the game and the conspicuously absent discussion on the story might have been a big hint as any. I should say, though, that this news has been turned into a video game controversy, and specifically for the comments of Peter Moore, the COO of EA. During a recent interview, he was quoted as saying that very few people play single-player on these kinds of games. That's what the data points to. This is in addition to the comments made earlier by Patrick Bach of DICE when he said that the single-player was never in the plan. Now, I don't know about you, but to me this makes it sound like Star Wars Battlefront is not going to have any single player at all. Not just a lack of campaigns, but a lack of any online play as well. The thing is, though, is that this is mostly incorrect. The truth is that we already have been promised an offline mode with bots months ago by DICE. Basically, we are getting a few different modes that includes both short missions and most likely a general skirmish mode as well. Before I begin my take on the situation, I have to state first that Peter Moore was an idiot for saying what he said. Nothing good could have ever come up from it. The sad part of it is, though, that the very few people seem to have actually caught on that there's just no campaign rather than no single player at all. Seriously, when did campaign mode become the only single player mode in existence for shooters? Of course, a number of news sites that reported this mess conspicuously omitted the fact that offline modes have already been confirmed for months, effectively misleading the public in the process. If you want to ask me my opinion on Star Wars Battlefront not having a campaign, though, I want you to be braced for what my answer would be. To be blunt, I was actually terrified that EA would put a single-player campaign in. This is probably the best news I've heard from EA in years. Okay, I'm in trouble now. So allow me to explain my way on this. See, as I said back during my video in why the Battlefield series has gone downhill, I specifically tore into the campaign modes of Battlefield 3 and 4 for failing to stand out and for being excessively linear and scripted in a series known for open-world level design and organic, non-scripted gameplay. It felt disingenuous to the series and why people loved Battlefield. It felt like exactly the sort of thing that EA would force into games because they're seeing everyone else do it. Now, I'm not going to say that Star Wars Battlefront game couldn't have a good and true campaign mode. In fact, Star Wars Battlefront 2 had probably the best campaign mode for this type of game. The perfect campaign mode for this type of game. It succeeded in making you feel like you're part of a larger battle in an open level with just enough scripting to make it feel a little bit different from skirmish to keep you invested. So at the end of the day, yes, Star Wars Battlefront could have an excellent campaign if it were done well. But I can safely say that EA lacks the competence and the knowledge at the higher levels to pull it off. I will guarantee you that the highly scripted Call of Duty clone style of campaign is all they know about and is the only type of campaign mode that exists to them. So that is why I specifically dreaded the idea of the new Star Wars Battlefront game having a campaign mode. That isn't to say, however, that I dreaded the idea of single player. In fact, the news that a skirmish mode was in the game with bots was basically a dream come true for me. Going back to Battlefront 2, even though I loved how they did the campaign, I still mostly played the offline skirmish mode. I even played it enough that I had legendary status on all the medals and had a general rank. I played this game all the time, and this brings me down to the most basic argument I can make on why I'd prefer an offline skirmish mode to a campaign mode for Star Wars Battlefront: replay value. The simple fact is that the non-scripted gameplay of a skirmish mode tends to lean itself towards having your own personal stories and experiences. In layman's term, the game isn't going to play out twice the exact same way, unlike in a campaign mode. The main benefit is that it helps keep a game living longer than something like a campaign would. To use Battlefield as an example, I still jump onto Battlefield 1942 and Battlefield 2 every now and then. Comparatively, I haven't even touched Battlefield 3 in years, and the last time I played Battlefield 4 was when I made that video about it last year. So that is my take on the issue. Star Wars Battlefront not having a campaign is actually a blessing in disguise. The disguise made by genuine incompetence and stupidity of EA. Of course, this is an opinion that will likely cause debate and may very well be unpopular, judging from the general reaction I've seen to this whole bit of news. As always, though, feel free to leave your comments on this issue. Maybe a good discussion could come of it. Hope to hear from you guys again soon. Peace out.